Hey, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Hey, sorry I'm getting back to you late today. I didn't get in till 3 in the morning, thanks to delayed aircraft. Hey, but listen, I was thinking about this because I was in the airport, and this is how I came up with this topic. And I know some of y'all think I'm crazy with some of the topics that I come up with, but this topic right here is one of the number one problems and reasons that people face in America. So if you're looking at my screen or you're on YouTube, this is the 7 factors that obesity is linked to poverty in America. And this is why. I was in that airport and I was looking at some of the people that were walking through the airport. And I don't judge people that are obese or overweight because in my family that is a actual thing that has happened in our family where a lot of people are overweight. Okay. Yes, I even struggle with it. So, according to the Army, I should weigh 190. I weigh 225. So, when y'all see me and I'm in this hurry up, get in shape, blah, blah, blah mode, it's because I have to be in shape. So, with that said, why is that? Why is obesity linked to poverty in America? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. Please like and subscribe and share this channel with someone you love. Let's get started. So, one of the number one things that we know happens is that there's a access to healthy food problem. And if you go into my sources, I actually put some sources down. I have a couple of articles in there and actually another video about food desert. But what happens is low income neighborhoods often have limited access to supermarkets and grocery stores that offer healthy food, affordable food as an option. You see, what happens is is that supermarkets and grocery stores can't make money in low income communities. So they don't even try. Um, and if they do, and you disagree, and you're part of the grocery store or actual supermarket community, please answer me in my comments. I would love to have you on to find out your opinion about this. See, this leads to a higher consumption of processed and unhealthy food, guys, which are often more readily available and less expensive. People are buying what they can afford. Now, you're saying, well, how is obesity and poverty kin to each other, linked to each other, like each other? Well, according to a study published by the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, low income neighborhoods have fewer supermarkets and grocery stores that offer healthy food options, leading to higher rates of obesity. Now, if you don't believe me, go to any urban area in the United States, and you will notice there is a lack of grocery stores, typically because people can't afford transportation. You can't take a lot of food and things of that nature on transportation. Shout out to my son, Michael. He wants to change that. Um, but what we're saying is currently, right now, you're not seeing people getting on buses or either the metro trains with loads and loads of food coming home because they just don't do that. And their choices are limited with what they can buy as far as healthy or fresh food. So, with that said, what are you saying, financial first responder? What I'm saying is it has been designed that people in poor neighborhoods cannot get good quality food, which means their healthcare costs go up, which also means their death rates go up. High blood pressure is rampant, high cholesterol, diabetes, all types of things based off of not having access to fresh food. That's what I'm saying, people. You can call it how you want. It is what it is. So, what is next? We have food insecurity. See, poverty can lead to food insecurity, which is the inability to access enough food for an active or healthy life. In times of food insecurity, individuals may rely on cheaper, high calorie foods that are low in nutrition, contributing to weight gain and obesity. Now, if you don't believe me, the U.S. DA, Economic Research Service, reports that food insecurity is more prevalent among low income households, which can lead to higher consumption of low cost, energy dense foods that contribute to obesity. Now, everybody's had a big mama, or a grandmama, or a me mama, and they've always cooked food or took time to go to the grocery store and make Sunday dinners or make those actual special meals that we as children and grandchildren love so much. Why? Because they took the time to make nutritious meals. Sometimes they even grew the food that they actually cooked us. And what we have is we don't have the ability because we don't own the land, people, i.e., home ownership, land ownership. I grew up where a grandmother and grandfather had a plot of land where they actually grew collards and corn and squash and cucumbers and watermelons. And yes, we were in North Carolina and we were in the country. But there are places here in the city that actually do the same thing. They're co-ops. They're actually working to try to make sure there are no food deserts. And as you become more financially savvy, I'm quite sure the foods that you feed your family are usually more healthier. So what are we saying? We also know this: built environment. What's the built environment? Mike Barnes, a financial first responder. See, the built environment in many low income neighborhoods may not be conducive to physical activity. Now, I like to put it like this: when you're all on top of each other, and I know my son would disagree with me, okay, because we have heated discussions in the Barnes household. I can promise you that. There tends to be a lack of activity because there are no, as he likes to tell me, and this is true, this can include a lack of safe sidewalks. So sidewalks are not maintained in urban areas, parks, recreational facilities, making it difficult for residents to engage in regular exercise. If the only exercise you get is walking to the bus stop, getting on the bus and going to work, and then coming back, and you don't get any other exercise, that lack of exercise and that bad food aids in your medical conditions. Matter of fact, research has said, which was published in the International Journal of Behavioral Nutrition and Physical Activity, suggests that neighborhood characteristics such as access to parks, recreational facilities, influence physical activity levels and obesity rates, particularly in low income areas. Now, we know that there are rec centers and we know that there are YMCAs and different places in the community where people can go to actually get exercise and commingle and communicate. However, some of these places, because of lack of funding, have been shut down. Now, people say, well, that's easy. Just have the government pay more money. Well, guess where the more money comes from? From taxes. And where did the taxes come from? They come from you and me, those people who actually have jobs and pay into the system. Now, you may say, well, we got sales tax. Yeah, you got sales tax. But that's actually over and above the cost of goods or services that are sold so that the entrepreneur or the person can stay in business so they can sell you said item. We have property tax. Well, yeah, we do have property tax. We have school tax. We got a whole bunch of type of taxes. But guess what? Each one of them are meant for certain things. What I'm saying to you is that in infrastructure or in building up a community, the poor tend to be more obese because they have lack of services. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. We are our brothers and sisters' keeper. However, it is twofold. Because of the high levels of obesity, because of the high levels of poverty, there is government assistance. But if there is no program which weans someone off of government assistance, they may stay on government assistance until either one or two things happen. They don't qualify for it anymore, they die, or they get off on their own. It's usually those three reasons, right? So you want to think about all this that occurs in a community. And, people say, well, rich people should do their part. Well, yes, they should. And so should poor people. They should exercise. They should advocate for themselves to get better food sources, just like everybody else. But if they don't know, they don't know. They haven't been educated. Now, our school systems do teach this, but they don't teach it at a level where I think that the masses of people who would benefit from it most actually understand it. There's a such thing that if you talk over someone and you don't break it down into terms that are familiar to them, they won't get it. And that doesn't mean they're less intelligent. What that means is that you're talking over them. So with that said, I'm going to stop talking over you and I'm going to move on. Because we can talk about this infrastructure thing for days. Trust me, Michael Deuce Barnes will talk your head off about what's wrong with our system. I love that boy. He's going to make a great civil engineer. Anyway, moving on. Marketing and advertising. In fact, some of you probably have been susceptible to this. I'm not going to name any of these restaurants, but you know all of the fast food restaurants that show up in the community. Matter of fact, low-income communities are often targeted by the marketing campaigns for unhealthy foods and beverages, which can influence food choices and contribute to overeating. Now, when you were a kid and you were growing up, you had to have the blank meal, or you had to have the toy that was in the meal. I have seen firsthand, because I told you my father worked at different restaurants in the past as a manager, the actual campaigns that were driven to drive children and their parents into these facilities. Now, I'm all for marketing free business, but you can't feed your child chicken nuggets and burgers 3 days, 4 days a week. You have to have some healthy food choices. So, why do I say that? See, a report from Rudd Center for Food Policy and Obesity at the University of Connecticut found that low-income children are disproportionately targeted by food and beverage companies through advertising and for unhealthy products. Now, I want you to think about something. The Super Bowl happened in February, I believe. And on that cold day when we were watching two teams play, whether they were ours or they were our team, we also watched all the ads come through. Now, these were sophisticated ads because they had to appeal to the masses. I guarantee you did not see some of the ads that you normally see on regular TV. That's food for thought now. Because they will advertise on programs to get a certain group or audience attention. It's marketing and advertising. Now, what else happens? You're saying, well, Mike, you're the financial first responder. Why are we talking about food? What is it with food? You are what you eat. And as someone told me earlier today, I think it was this topic, that you eat for life and you don't eat because of life. I guess I'm saying that somewhat correct. But it leads me to this next topic. A lot of y'all are stressed. See, people that are in extreme poverty have this happen to them. Now, if you're looking at me right now and you're on YouTube, you're probably looking at a spoon full of pills, right? Basically saying simply that poverty is associated with higher levels of chronic stress, which can lead to emotional eating and weight gain. Additionally, stress can affect hormone levels in your body and increase the risk of obesity. But what else does that always does? Or what it actually allows you to actually take more medication. And the pharmaceutical, now, if I was a conspiracy theorist, I would be like, hey, they fatten us up to give us the disease so that we have to buy the drugs, so that we continue to be reliant on bad food choices and then the drugs, and then at some point we die. If I had to choose something or say something like that, it'd probably be that. But the American Psychology Association reports that stress is a significant factor in the development of obesity, with chronic stress leading to changes in appetite regulation and increased risk of weight gain. Now, I can tell you that what do most people who have a problem do? They binge. They either binge on TV, binge on drinking, binge on eating, binge on snacking, they binge on a lot of stuff, but they don't normally binge on I'm gonna exercise, I'm gonna eat right. It's the comfort stuff, right? So if you have a group of people who have little to no money, they have bad food choices, they're under stress, is it not a good, reasonable conclusion that they would eat more, which means that they would be obese? So what does that mean? We got to get educated. So how do we educate? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, education and awareness is one of those other things that there's a problem in. See, you have limited education and awareness about nutrition and healthy lifestyle. Choices can contribute to the obesity in low income communities. Without access to information about healthy eating and exercise, individuals may be more likely to make unhealthy choices. Now, I can tell you, my wife is one of the most healthiest people I know. She measures and weighs and food preps and does all that, and she reads everything when it comes to health. Now, I've heard somebody say to me, they said one time, they were like, well, you could be real healthy and then go get hit by a bus and then you just wasted your life away. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's probably best that you be healthy and have a longer life. And at least if you get hit by the bus, your organs can go to somebody else. Just saying. Food for thought. Be a donor. According to a study published in the Journal of the Nutrition, Education, and Behavior, low-income individuals often have limited access to nutrition education and resources, which can contribute to unhealthy eating habits and obesities. Now, I want you to think about something for a second. Why do they have these programs for Head Start and for Healthy Baby Initiative and things of that nature? Because they identified that people were having malnutrition children at birth because they weren't properly eating. Now, they give you the Head Start by making sure you take vitamins, prenatal pills, all these good things, right? But what do they do after that? They got you because you're so used to taking these drugs that eventually you want a drug that will solve everything. And I'm quite sure you know of some drugs right now that people are taking for weight loss versus exercising, diet, eating in moderation. And I'm one to talk, I'm telling you, because the Army says I need to be 190, 195, 190, and I'm 225. So in the Army standards, I'm obese. So I have to work on that. And I want to challenge you to work on it as well. Because I always say it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. It's almost the same as not how much you eat, but how well you eat or drink. Talking about water, people, not liquor. All right, let's talk about healthcare access. You see, there's a direct correlation to people's healthcare. See, poor people can't get good healthcare. So if you can't get good healthcare, good food, and your finances are jacked up, more than likely your whole life is messed up. Because see, what happens is limited access to healthcare services, including preventive care, obesity treatment, can make it difficult for individuals in poverty to manage their weight and their overall health. Matter of fact, research from Kaiser Family Foundation shows that low-income individuals are less likely to have access to health care services, including preventive care and obesity treatment, which can hinder efforts to manage weight and overall health. Now, you're probably saying, Mike, you're the financial first responder. Why in the hell are we talking about health? Because health is the new wealth. You could have a lot of money and be sick as a dog, and you would spend all said money to be not sick. So let's talk about the problem right now. So, in summary, what I've come up with today is probably a not profitable or popular target or topic because you don't want to talk about you're overweight. What some of you do is when you're overweight, instead of losing weight and putting back on the same clothes, you go buy more clothes and say, "Oh, I look good." No, you look fat. Just let me just tell you the truth. Stop buying new stuff, wasting money when all you need to do is push away from the plate, exercise, take care of yourself. Because I can help you save a bunch of money, but what I can't help you do is get back your health. You have to talk to professionals like my wife. Now, in summary, these factors interact in complex ways and can vary based on individual circumstances and community resources. No doubt, guys, I understand that everybody's community is different. Addressing the link between obesity and poverty requires a multifaceted approach that includes improving access to healthy foods, creating environments that support physical activity, and addressing social and economic inequalities. I keep telling you one of the number one inequalities is we don't teach finance in school. We barely teach health. So if you're not teaching finances, you can't afford the right foods, you can't get the proper health care, and there lies the problem. And I don't believe that it's all a government thing. It is an everybody thing. So with that said, this is Mike Barnes, the financial first responder. This next slide has my sources. Please take a look at some of them. There's another YouTube video in there from DC because I'm in the DC area where it talks about the food desert. I want you to get educated and educate somebody else and help somebody else out in your family. Share this, like this, subscribe, and I look forward to talking to you. And have a great day. God bless.